Chapter 19. The Summer Table. Hey, is this seat taken? I looked up and a girl I never saw before was standing across from my table with a lunch tray full of food. She had long wavy brown hair and wore a brown t-shirt with a purple peace sign on it. Oh no, I said. She put her lunch tray on the table, plopped her backpack on the floor and sat down across from me. She started to eat the mac and cheese on her plate. Ugh, she said after swallowing the first bite. I should have brought a sandwich like you did. Yeah, I said, nodding. My name is Summer, by the way. What's yours? August. Cool, she said. Summer, another girl came over to the table carrying a tray. Why are you sitting here? Come back to the table. It was too crowded, Summer answered her. Come sit here, there's more room. The other girl looked confused for a second. I realized she had been one of the girls I had caught looking at me just a few minutes earlier, handcuffed over her mouth, whispering. I guess Summer had been one of the girls at the table too. Never mind, said the girl, leaving. Summer looked at me, shrugged, smiled, and took another bite of her mac and cheese. Hey, our names kinda match, she said as she chewed. I guess she could tell I didn't know what she meant. Summer, August, she said, smiling, her eyes open wide as she waited for me to get it. Oh yeah, I said after a second. We can make this the summer-only lunch table, she said. Only kids with summer names can sit here. Let's see, is there anyone here named June or July? There's Amaya, I said. Technically, May is spring, Summer answered. But if you wanted to sit here, we could make an exception. She said it as she'd actually thought the whole thing through. There's Julian, that's like the name Julia, which comes from July. I didn't say anything. There's a kid named Raid in my English class, I said. Yeah, I know Raid, but how is Raid a summer name? She asked. I don't know, I shrugged. I just picture like a reed of grass being summer thing. Yeah, okay, she nodded, pulling out her notebook. And Miss Petosa could sit here too. That kind of sounds like the word petal, which I think of as a summer thing too. I have her for homeroom, I said. I have her for math, she answered, making a face. She started writing the list of names on the second to last page of her notebook. So who else? She said. By the end of lunch, we had come up with a whole list of names of kids and teachers who could sit at our table if they wanted. Most of the names weren't actually summer names, but they were names that had some kind of connection to summer. I even found a way of making Jack Will's name work by pointing out that you could turn his name into a sentence about summer, like Jack will go to the beach, which Summer agreed worked fine. But if someone doesn't have a summer name and wants to sit with us, she said very seriously, we'll still let them if they're nice, okay? Okay, I nodded. Even if it's a winter name, Cool Beans, she answered, giving me a thumbs up. Summer looked like her name. She had a tan, and her eyes were green like a leaf.
1 to 10. Mom always had this habit of asking me how something felt on a scale of 1 to 10. It started after I had my jaw surgeries, when I couldn't talk because my mouth was wide shut. They had taken a piece of bone from my hip bone to insert into my chin to make it look more normal, so I was hurting a lot of different places. Mom would point one of my bandages, and I would hold up my fingers to show her how much it was hurting. 1 meant a little bit. 10 meant so much. Then she would tell the doctor when he made his rounds what needed adjusting, or things like that. Mom got very good at reading my mind sometimes. After that, we got into the habit of doing the 1 to 10 scale for anything that hurt. Like if I just had a plain old sore throat, she asked, 1 to 10? And I say, 3, or whatever it was. When school was over, I went outside to meet Mom, who was waiting for me at the front entrance like all the other parents or baby sister. The first thing she said after hugging me was, So, how was it? 1 to 10? 5. I said, searching, which I could tell totally surprised her. Wow, she said quietly. That's even better than I hoped for. Are we picking Via up? Miranda's mother is picking her up today. Do you want me to carry your backpack, sweeties? We had started walking through the crowd of kids and parents, most of whom were noticing me, secretly pointing me out to each other. I'm fine, I said. It looks so heavy, Augie. She started to take it from me. Mom, I said, pulling my backpack away from her. I walked in front of her through the crowd. See you tomorrow, August. It was Summer. She was walking in the opposite direction. Bye, Summer, I said, waving at her. As soon as we crossed the street and were away from the crowd, Mom said, Who was that, Augie? Summer. Is she in your class? I have lots of classes. Is she in any of your classes? Mom said, Nope. Mom waited for me to say something else, but I just didn't feel like talking. So it went okay? Said Mom. I could tell she had a million of questions she wanted to ask me. Everyone was nice. Did you like your teachers? Yeah. How about those kids you met last week? Were they nice? Fine, fine. Check her out with me a lot. That's so great, sweetie. What about that boy Julian? I thought about Darcy's comment. By now, it felt like that had happened hundreds years ago. He was okay, I said. And the blonde girl, what was her name? Charlotte. Mom, I said everyone was nice already. Okay, Mom answered. I honestly don't know why I was kind of mad at Mom, but I was. We crossed it at Misford Avenue, and she didn't say anything else until we turned onto our block. So, Mom said, how did you meet Summer if she wasn't in any of your classes? We sat together at lunch, I said. I had started kicking a rock between my feet like it was a soccer ball, chasing it back and forth across the sidewalk. She seemed very nice. Yeah, she is. She's very pretty, Mom said. Yeah, I know, I answered. We are kind of like Beauty and the Beast. I didn't wait to see Mom's reaction. I just started running down the sidewalk after the rock, which I had kicked as hard as I could in front of me.
Pedal on. That night I cut off a little braid on the back of my head. Dad noticed first. Oh good, he said, I never liked that thing. Fia couldn't believe I had cut it off. That 2 years ago, she said, almost like she was angry. Why did you cut it off? I don't know, I answered. Did someone make fun of it? No. Did you tell Christopher you were cutting it off? We're not even friends anymore. That's not true, she said. I can't believe you would just cut it off like that. She added snaughtily and then practically slammed my bedroom door shut as she left the room. I was snuggling with Daisy on my bed when Dad came to tuck me in later. He scooched Daisy over gently and lay down next to me on the blanket. So Archie Dodgy, he said, it was really an okay day. He got that from an old cartoon about a Dachshund named Archie Dodgy, by the way. He had bought it for me on eBay when I was about 4, and we watched it a lot for a while, especially in the hospital. He would call me Archie Dodgy, and I would call him the old dad, like the puppy called the Dachshund dad on the show. Yeah, it was totally okay, I said. Nothing. You've been so quiet all night long. I guess I'm tired. It was a long day up. I nodded, but it was really okay. I nodded again. He didn't say anything, so after a few seconds, I said, it was better than okay, actually. It's great to hear, Ozzy, he said quietly, kissing my forehead. So it looked like it was a good call Mom made y'all going to school. Yeah, but I could stop if I wanted to, right? That was a deal, yes, he answered. Though I guess it would depend on why you wanted to stop going to, you know. You have to let us know. You have to talk to us and tell us how you're feeling. And if anything bad was happening, okay, you promise you tell us. So can I ask you something? Are you mad at Mom or something? You've been kind of huffy with her all night long. You know, Audrey, I'm as much to blame for sending you to school as she is. No, she's more to blame. It was her idea. Mom knocked on the door just then and peeked her head inside my room. Just wanted to say goodnight, she said. She looked kind of shy for a second. Hi, Mama, Dad said, picking up my hand and waving it at her. I heard you cut off your braid, Mom said to me, sitting down at the edge of the bed next to Daisy. It's not a big deal, I answered quickly. I didn't say it was, said Mom. Why don't you put Ozzy to bed tonight? Dad said to Mom, getting up. I've got some work to do anyway. Good night, my son, my son. That was another part of our Ozzy-Dozy routine, though I wasn't in the mood to say good night, dear old Dad. I'm so proud of you, said Dad, and then he got up out of the bed. Mom and Dad had always taken turns putting me to bed. I know it was a little babyish of me to still need them to do that, but that's just how it was with us. We were checking on Via, Mom said to Dad as she lay down next to me. He stopped by the door and turned around. What's wrong with Via? Nothing, said Mom, shrugging. At least that she would tell me, but first day of high school and all that. Said Dad, and then he pointed his finger at me and winked. It's always something with you kids, isn't it? He said. Never a dull moment, said Mom. Never a dull moment. Dad repeated, good night, guys. As soon as he closed the door, Mom pulled out a book she'd been reading to me for the last couple of weeks. I was relieved because I really was afraid she wanted to talk, and I just didn't feel like doing that. But Mom didn't seem to want to talk either. She just flipped through the pages until she got to where we had left off. We were about halfway through The Hobbit. Stop, stop, shouted Thorin, said Mom, reading aloud. But it was too late. The excited dwarfs had wasted their last arrows, and now the bows that Burn had given them was useless. They were a gloomy party that night, and the blooms gathered still deeper on them in the following days. They had crossed the enchanted stream, but beyond in the path seemed to straggle on just as before, and in the forest they could see no change. I'm not sure why, but all of a sudden I started to cry. Mom put the book down and wrapped her arm around me. She didn't seem surprised that I was crying. It's okay, she whispered in my ear. It will be okay. I'm sorry, I said between sniffles. She said, wiping my tears with the back of her hand. You have nothing to be sorry about. Why do I have to be so ugly, Mom? I whispered. No, baby, you're not. I know I am. She kissed me all over my face. She kissed my eyes that came down too far. She kissed my cheeks that looked punched in. She kissed my tortoise mouth. She said soft words that I knew were meant to help me, but words can't change my face.
Wake me up when September ends. The rest of September was hard. I wasn't used to getting up so early in the morning. I wasn't used to the whole notion of homework, and I got my first quiz at the end of the month. I never got quizzes when Mom homeschooled me. I also didn't like how I had no free time anymore. Before, I was able to play whenever I wanted to. But now it felt like I always had stuff to do for school. And being at school was awful in the beginning. Every new class I had was like a new chance for kids to not stare at me. They could sneak peeks at me from behind their notebooks, or when they thought I wasn't looking. They would take the longest way around me to avoid bumping into me in any way, like I had some germ they could catch, like my face was contagious. In the hallways, which were always crowded, my face would always surprise some unsuspecting kid who maybe hadn't heard about me. The kid would make the sound you make when you hold your breath before going underwater, a little hurt sound. This happened maybe 4 or 5 times a day for the first few weeks, on the stairs, in front of lockers, in the library. 500 kids in the school. Eventually, every one of them was going to see my face at some time. and I knew after a first couple of days that word had gotten around about me. Because every once in a while, I'd catch a kid elbowing his friend as he passed me, or talking behind their hands as I walked by them. I can only imagine what they were saying about me. Actually, I prefer not to even try to imagine it. I'm not saying they were doing any of these things in a mean way, by the way. Not once did any kid laugh or make noises or doing anything like that. They were just being normal dumb kid. I know that. I kinda wanted to tell them that, like, it's okay. I know I'm weird looking. Take a look, I don't bite. Hey, the truth is, if a Wookiee started going to school all of a sudden, I'd be curious. I'd probably stare a bit. And if I was walking with Jack or Summer, I'd probably whisper to them, "Hey, that's Wookiee." And if the Wookiee caught me saying that, he'd know I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just pointing out the fact that he's a Wookiee. It took about 1 week for the kids in my class to get used to my face. These were the kids I would say every day in all my classes. It took about 2 weeks for the rest of the kids in my grade to get used to my face. These were the kids I'd see in cafeteria, jazz time, PE, music, library, computer class. It took about a month for the rest of the kids in the entire school to get used to it. These were the kids in all other grades. They were big kids, some of them. Some of them had crazy haircut. Some of them had earrings in their noses. Some of them had pimples. None of them looked like me.
Chapter 23. Jack Will. I hung out with Jack in homeroom, English, history, computer, music, and science, which were all the classes we had together. The teachers assigned seats in every class, and I ended up sitting next to Jack in every single class. So I figured either the teachers were told to put me and Jack together, or it was a totally incredible coincidence. I walked to classes with Jack too. I know he noticed kids staring at me, but he pretended not to notice. One time, though, on our way to history, this huge 8th grader who was zooming down the stairs two steps at a time accidentally bumped into us at the bottom of the stairs and knocked me down. As the guy helped me stand up, he got a look at my face, and without even meaning to, he just said, "Wow." Then he patted me on the shoulder like he was dusting me off and took off after his friends. For some reason, me and Jack started cracking up. "That guy made the funniest face," said Jack as we sat down at our desks. "I know, right?" I said. He was like, "Wow." I swear, I think he wet his pants. We were laughing so hard that teacher, Mr. Rush, had to ask us to set it down. Later, after we finished reading about how ancient Sumerians built sundials, Jack whispered, "Do you even want to beat those kids up?" I shrugged. "I guess I don't know. I don't want to. I think you should get a secret squirt gun or something and attach it to your eyes somehow, and every time someone stared at you, you would squirt them in the face with some green slime or something." I answered, No, with slug juice mixed with dog pee." "Yeah," I said, completely agreeing. "Guys," said Mr. Rush from across the room, "people are still reading." We nodded and looked down at our books. Then Jack whispered, "Are you always going to look this way, August? I mean, can you get plastic surgery or something?" I smiled and pointed to my face. "Hello, this is after plastic surgery." Jack clapped his hand over his forehead and started laughing hysterically. "Duh, you should sue your doctor," he answered between giggles. This time the two of us were laughing so much we couldn't stop, even after Mr. Rush came over and made us both switch chairs with the kids next to us.
Chapter 24 Mr. Brown's October Precept. Mr. Brown's precept for October was, "Your deeds are your monuments." He told us that this was written on the tombstone of some Egyptian guy that died thousands of years ago. Since we were just about to start studying ancient Egypt in history, Mr. Brown thought this was a good choice for a precept. Our homework assignment was to write a paragraph about what we thought the precept meant and how we felt about it. This is what I wrote. This precept means that we should be remembered for the things we do. The things we do are the most important things of all. They are more important than what we say or what we look like. The things we do outlast our mortality. The things we do are like the monuments that people build to honor heroes after they have died. They are like the pyramids that the Egyptians built to honor the pharaohs. Only instead of being made out of stone, they are made out of the memories people have of you. That's why your deeds are like the monuments, built with memories instead of stone.
Hello, this is Wonder Challenge, 22 August 2020. Wonder Chapter 1, Apples. My birthday is October 10. I like my birthday October 10. It would have been great if I were being born at exactly 10:10 in the morning or at night, but I wasn't. I was born just after midnight, but I still think my birthday is cool. I usually have a little party at home, but this year I asked Mom if I could have a big bowling party. Mom was surprised but happy. She asked me who I wanted to ask from my class, and I said everyone in my homeroom plus Summer. "That's a lot of kids, August," said Mom. "I have to invite everyone because I don't want anyone to get their feeling hurt if they find out other people invited and they aren't, okay?" "Okay," Mom agreed. "You even want to invite What's the Deal kid?" "Yes, you can invite Julian," I answered. "Geez, Mom, you should forget about that already." "I know, you're right." A couple of weeks later, I asked Mom who was coming to my party, and she said Jack Will Summer, Ray Kingsley, Bob Maxis, and a couple of other kids said they were going to try to be there. "Like who?" Charlotte's mom said Charlotte had a dance recital earlier in the day, but she was going to try to come to your party if time allowed. And Kristen's mom said he might come after his soccer game. "So that is," I said, "that's like 5 people." "That's more than 5 people, August. I think a lot of people just had planned already," Mom answered. We were in the kitchen. She was cutting one of the apples we had just gotten at the farmer market into teensy-weensy bites so I could eat it. "What kind of plans?" I asked. "I don't know, August. We sent out every kind of late." "Like what did they tell you, Todd? What reason did they give?" "Everyone gave different reason, August." She sounded a bit impatient. "Really, sweetie, it shouldn't matter that what their reasons were. People has planned, that's all." "What did Julian give us his reason?" I asked. "You know," said Mom. "His mom was the only person who didn't RSVP at all." She looked at me. "I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree." I laughed because I thought she was making a joke, but I realized she wasn't. "What does that mean?" I asked. Never mind, now go wash your hands so you can eat. My birthday party turned out to be much smaller than I thought it would be. But it was still great. Jack, Summer, Ray, Kristen, and both Marcies came from school, and Christopher came too. All the way the Bridgeport with his parents, and Uncle Ben came, and Aunt Carol and Uncle Paul drove into Boston. Tata and Papa were in Florida for the winter. It was fun because all the grown-up ended up bowling in the lane next to ours, so it really felt like there were a lot of people there to celebrate my day. That's the end.
Chapter 25 Halloween. At lunch the next day, Summer asked me what it was going to be for Halloween. Of course, I have been thinking about it since last Halloween, so I knew right away. Boba Fett. You know, you can wear a costume to school on Halloween, right? No way, really? So long as it is politically correct. What? Like no guns and stuff? Exactly. What about blasters? I think blasters like a gun. Argy. Oh man, I said, shaking my head. Boba Fett has a blaster. At least we don't have to come like a character in a book anymore. In the lower school, that's what you had to do. Last year, I was the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. But that's a movie, not a book. Hello, someone answered. It was a book first. One of my favorite books in the world, actually. My dad used to read it to me every night in the first grade. When Summer talks, especially when she is excited about something, her eyes squint like she is looking right at the sun. I hardly ever see Summer during the day, since the only class we have together is English. But ever since that first lunch at school, we have sat at summer table together every day, just the two of us. So, what are you going to be? I asked her. I don't know yet. I know what I would really want to go as, but I think it might be too darky. You know, Savannah's group isn't even wearing costumes this year. They think we are too old for Halloween. What? That's just dumb. I know, right? I thought you didn't care what those girls think. She shrugged and took a long drink of her milk. So what dark thing? So what dark thing do you want to dress up as? I asked her, smiling. Promise not to laugh. She raised her eyebrows and her shoulders. Embarrassed. A unicorn. I smiled and looked down at my sandwich. Hey, you promised not to laugh. She laughed. Okay, okay, I said, but you are right. That is too darky. I know, she said, but I have it on plain hour. I could make the head out of paper and paint the horn gold and make the man gold too. It could be so awesome. Okay, I shrugged. Then you should do it. Who cares? Who cares what other people think, right? Maybe what I will do is just wear it for the Halloween parade, she said, snapping her fingers. And I would just be like a goth girl for school. Yeah, that's it. That's what I will do. That's what I will do. Sounds like a plan, I nodded. Thanks, Argy. She giggled. You know, that's what I like best about you. I feel like I can tell you anything. Yeah, I answered, nodding. I gave her a thumbs up sign. Cool beans.
School pictures. I don't think anyone will be shocked to learn I don't want to have my school picture taken on October 22nd. No way. No thank you. I stopped letting anyone take pictures of me a while ago. I guess you could call it a phobia. No, actually it's not a phobia. It's an aversion, which is a word I just learned in Mr. Brown class. I have an aversion to having my picture taken. There, I use it in a sentence. I thought Mom would try to get me to drop my aversion to having my pictures taken for school, but she didn't. Unfortunately, while I managed to avoid having the portrait taken, I couldn't get out of being part of the class picture. Ugh, the photographer looked like he had just sucked on a lemon when he saw me. I'm sure he thought I ruined the picture. I was one of the ones in the front, sitting down. I didn't smile, not that anyone could tell if I had.